What is up, everybody? I hope you guys are doing good. If you guys aren't, then let me know what's going on. Seriously, if you guys aren't in a good mood, then I want to know. So DM me on Twitter and Instagram. Let me know what's going on. Unless you're an iPhone 8. If you have an iPhone 8, just leave me alone, alright? Because in my opinion, I don't think the iPhone 8 and the iPhone 8 Plus should have never been released. And with me saying that, I'm not saying they're horrible phones. They're actually very, very good phones. They're one of the best iPhones you can buy. But in my opinion, in the current state of iPhones and just phones in general, the trends that we're setting, I don't think they should have ever been made. Now, honestly, I don't really think there's too much difference between the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus and the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus besides wireless charging. I already talked about this in my iPhone 8 review, and I already stated yeah, it's a very good phone, but I don't really think it's worth, a couple $100 more than the current iPhone 7 and 7 Plus. Now, one thing I want to note, okay, and one of the main reasons is because the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus came out or were announced the same time as the iPhone 10, but the iPhone 10 came out later than the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus. So literally when the iPhone 10 came out in November, the iPhone 8 was already kind of old, and that made the iPhone 8 used prices much lower already within like 3 months, because a lot of people were updating to the iPhone 10 and they were just getting rid of their iPhone 8 or 8 Plus and just selling it for like much cheaper prices. Now that's good on me, that's good for me, because when I picked up an iPhone 8 or something like that, I was able to get a deal off it. But it's still not fair for people who had the iPhone 8 or 8 Plus, who were getting the iPhone 10 and then had to sell their phone for even cheaper. And I saw this actually when I went on eBay and I looked at used prices for the iPhone 8, and they were actually much lower than I thought. So, and on top of that, and on top of everything, they had to spend some time making the iPhone 8, alright? Whether it's the same or whatever, they put glass back, they put wireless charging, they made it a little bit faster, but they could have spent that same time and effort making the iPhone 10 or making another version of the iPhone 10 that maybe was cheaper or something, because honestly, by them going in the direction of still having the home button and everything, they were already kind of outdating that phone, because the newer iPhones this year, they're not going to have home buttons or anything like that. So they were already kind of making it so that phone is already it's not obsolete, but they're making it older by just the way it looks. And by them spending more time and resources on the iPhone 8, like I said, they could have spent more time making the iPhone 10 better. And it's not necessarily a horrible phone, but there were a lot of problems when the phone came out, such as the green line thing that my iPhone 10 had, tons of software bugs that possibly could have been avoided if they focused more time either not focusing on the iPhone 8 or 8 Plus and focusing on the iPhone 10, or just making another version of the iPhone 10 but cheaper, just like an iPhone SE2 or something, and releasing it that same year too. Now honestly, I think you guys know how I feel about this, but the biggest thing is that the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus were overpriced for what they were, honestly. Now so was the iPhone 10, no doubt, it's like $1,000, but whatever. But at least the iPhone 10 offered something different. The iPhone 8 and 8 Plus seemed more of the same. It just seemed like we already have everything that the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus have. The 7 Plus had the same portrait mode dual camera setup, and I'm sure there's different camera modes and better settings on the iPhone 8 Plus, but honestly it's not worth brand new retail price for a phone that literally looks exactly the same, almost has, of course it's faster and has the Apple 11 chip or whatever, but there's not that much of a difference, especially if you look on the outer body. What is it? Why would you pay retail price for like a 7 Plus with wireless charging? And like I said, next year the home buttons are done. Maybe there's in-screen fingerprint sensors, but that's really I don't think that's going to happen yet. I think it's going to wait till 2 years. Hopefully they release it next year. That'd be freaking dope. Or maybe a fingerprint sensor on the back or something. But they spent so much time and effort marketing Face ID, so I don't know if they're just going to do that right off the bat. But yeah, recently I've just been realizing that the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus should have never been made, and I'm not saying those are horrible phones. Like I stated in the beginning, I personally do like them. They have their pros and cons, but they should have never made them and just focused entirely on making a phone that's bezel-less or doesn't have any bezels or whatever and has the notch and, no home button. They should have made like 1 or 2 of those iPhones. And if they were going to release those iPhones, all 3 of them, they should have released them at the same time instead of waiting until November. That's just such a strange marketing thing they did, and they did it on purpose too, so. And I still think they should have lowered the prices for the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus, because they didn't really add too much. It just seems like a super unnecessary thing to buy. If you had an iPhone 7, even if you had an iPhone 6s, they didn't really do much in terms of the internals and all that stuff. So that's pretty much where I'm going to leave it at. If you have any questions or anything, leave it down in the comment section below. Hit that like button, that'll mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. We're still giving away an iPhone 6s and an iPhone SE on the channel, and in order to enter, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel and follow me on Twitter and Instagram. All those links are down in the description, so make sure you enter. Check out the other links down there too, but more importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys, and hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.